Everything's coming up to Timberwolves. Yeah, in the zone. Simple dedication to the team when you're in the know. To Timberwolves. Yeah, in the soul. Lifting all the positivity for the Wolves to grow. So, where we going from here, man? We listen week to week to get the clearest to clear. Recaps, got that. Soundcap, got that. Team ads, got that. So tell me what they do not have, huh? How dare you? Foolish question to ask, but I don't mean to go brag. But boy, they got all the stats, and they could go all the way back from KG to Zerbiak. And all I'm saying is that the cast a one-stop shot for my Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Ain't a thing falling, everything's coming up. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Falling from the autumn, ain't nobody gonna stop him. It's the Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Phonies, you can spot them, they the sheep under their clothes. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Talk a lot about them, y'all don't really know. Let's go.
Welcome into another Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm joined as always by Chris Emerson. Chris, how we doing?
We're doing good. We're enjoying summer, you know. We're moving
absolutely.
up to
It's
the
the
top
dog
of the
days.
West. What's
Yep,
that? The dog
absolutely.
days for sure.
And also joined as always by Jared Good. Jared, how we doing?
Doing well. It's hot out. I'm inside, so that's a good start.
Yeah. It has been hot, particularly if you don't live in Minnesota, you don't know. It was hot, but actually it was pretty good this week, like overall as a week, I think. So first I want to start off with this question, you guys. As you just saw in our intro, our clips are kind of old. Like we have the one where Ant jumps over the guy from Toronto. That's from 2 years ago. Also the D'Lo one where he hits the shot against Oklahoma City. Can you think of any other highlights that might be good for the intro? I'm just throwing it out there if you can think of anything. Chris, you got anything? I also want to get rid of the Patrick Beverly standing on the table thing for obvious reasons.
I don't know. I'll go through some stuff and see if I can find anything. Like I don't. Yeah, I mean,
Like, is any highlight like stand out?
No, but I mean,
okay.
I'm not like a highlight guy. Like I'm not
okay.
I'm not like whoa that crossover guy. I'm like
Right.
yeah, but that guy scored 25 on you. Like I don't care about your crossover. So like yeah,
Right.
I'm more of a big picture guy. So I mean, I would just put in some random stuff like a random block shot from J-Mac from where a guy tries to get a layup and he blocks. Like it doesn't have to be like earth shattering.
Right, that's true. Jared, can you think of anything? Any highlights?
Not really off the top of my head. I mean, I know the easy thing to say would be the Miami dunk that didn't count for Anthony Edwards, but it's kind of dumb to have a video that didn't count. So
it's still iconic. I had the opportunity to be at that game. I lost it. And that was a big moment, too, because that would have put us up. I mean, we ended up winning the game, but that would have put us up like 8. Instead, Miami came the other way. I think made it a single-digit game. Anyway, yeah. So I'll get to work on that. The other highlight, Nas, I was actually watching this week the top 100 highlights of the season. Nas had a pretty big dunk against, I think it was Dallas. Yeah, that maybe I could throw.
He had like a week and a half where he was putting like 2 or 3, like it's almost like he had like 8 extra inches on his vertical for like a week and a half, and he was just thundering them down on people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, you see, we'll think of something. We'll find something. Anyway, this is the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. I should say this at the beginning. We're trying to get to 150 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well, and share this with your friends. And if you're on Spotify, make sure to follow us and give us 5 stars so you never miss an episode. So now that that's out of the way, our number one topic today is D'Angelo Russell, because we kind of got a dream scenario right now with the Timberwolves. We got Gobert, Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, and McDaniels, who, as we saw, and we'll bring up in a little, just went out for 52 points, which is impressive in any capacity. But let's start with this. What do you think we should do with D'Lo? And I guess the options are just play him out, let us play out his contract, maybe look to move him at the trade deadline, or look to trade him, or look for him to or extend him? What do you think, Chris?
I mean, just like I don't think my opinions really change much. It all comes down to the number.
Yep.
If he's willing to take, supposedly there's a report out that came out that said he is willing to take under the max. But then I heard that there hasn't been much movement, so maybe it's not enough under the max that we think. Um, you know, we have to be real with value, and we can't be giving max contracts out to just anybody. Especially when we're gonna have two, super max guys on the roster already, and Edwards is gonna be a max soon. So, I mean, give me give me a 4 year, 23 million, 22 million. I'd be cool with that each year, something like
Mhm.
that. It's going to be in D'Lo's favor to sign a contract. He doesn't want to, pull a Rubio where he's playing awesome and all of a sudden blows a ligament, and now he's going into the off season on rehab, and needing a new contract. So
Mhm.
my guess is something will get worked out. But if not, and if he's not willing to budge on the price, okay, we'll see what happens. But it really puts us in a bad spot because we have no point guard other than him. Like we went out of our way not to address the point guard situation. Um, so I think we're handcuffed and he's handcuffed. So it's going to be a real interesting push, give and take.
Mhm. Jared, what do you think? Do you think that we can go into the season without extending D'Lo, or just let him play on his contract, or what do you think?
I think we should take option one of letting him play it out because, in my head, anyways, how I think about it is this contract is going to come down to D'Lo himself and what he's willing to accept. Because if he, says, hey, I'll take, 20 to 23 million for the next 4 years. I mean, we can work with it, but at the same point in time, he might think he's taking a discount. I think a lot of it has to do with this year's success, whether or not he's going to be on this team next year, because it has to come down to either him wanting to get paid or him wanting to win, if I'm being completely. Because if he gets paid, I think it's going to be somewhere that's not contending per se, but it really comes down to what he's comfortable with, for me anyways, because I think that he knows that we don't have max money to give. I mean, or we would really have to shuffle the deck of cards to make it work. And I think he's understanding of that. But we also have, 3 superstars on this team plus D'Lo. I don't know if I'd call Gobert a superstar, but he's pretty damn close, So it really comes down to his comfort zone with these this new core that we have. I don't know, man. I still think this will be his last year. I just have a gut feeling that he's going to require more money than we have to offer, just genuinely speaking. But, I mean, it really comes down to his own thought process, because if he's willing to take shave $4 to $7 million a year off of his contract to stay here, I think he will if he wants to.
Let me ask you this before we go to Chris quick, and Chris, you can answer this question as well. Do you think that this team, I would call D'Lo a good point guard at this point. I don't know if I'd call him elite. I don't know if I'd call him all-star. He has been an all-star, but good point guard. Do you think this team can be a contender with just an average run-of-the-mill point guard, like lower than D'Lo? What do you think, Jared?
It depends who it is, I guess.
Sure.
You gotta say, look at things here. We got between D'Lo, Cat, and Ant, we have probably at least 45 shots a game already taken up on the board for us. So I mean, if we get a younger guy that's going to try and cut into those 2 young superstars shot selection, then I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be
Tyus.
it's going to have. Yeah, it's going to be more of like a vet, because he's going to have to know his role when he's coming in and playing with these other superstars in this league.
Mm-hmm. Chris, go ahead.
To answer your question, I don't think we can unless that guy specifically can get his own shot. I mean, we need somebody that can get his own shot at at a high NBA level. I know people want to say like Jalen Noel can get his own shot, and he can, but in my opinion, right now, that's all that he can do is get his own shot. So we need someone that can actually like be on the court, but as a starter's minutes, but has a skill set to get his own shot. The thing about D'Lo is this is going to be a huge year for him, not only just to get his money, but just personnel wise. Like he's of the play style that needs someone to like set a big screen so he can come off the screen and get his shot. Needs somebody to muck it up so that he can, get some, get into his mid range with an open look. He needs someone who can roll so he can throw the easy lob or the pocket pass for a dunk. I think I saw last year the Timberwolves had 9 alley oops dunks last season, and Rudy Gobert alone had like 87. So
Yeah.
just that element is going to be so good for D'Lo. Not to mention Rudy Gobert is the best, if not one of the top, if not the best screen setter, pick setter in the entire NBA. So for a guy like D'Lo who just needs that little bit of space because he doesn't have elite athleticism to get his shot off, I mean, I think he's going to have to realize that, like Jared said, do you want to win or do you want to get paid? And this is going to be the best place to win. And he fits, I believe, almost perfectly with this roster, with what we have set up. He always talks about how he's, been moved around from place to place, and he's never really felt a home, and he's never really felt like, he belongs and some team really wants him. Well, we want him. You don't have to overpay somebody to tell him you want him, but now it's his turn to show that he wants to be wanted. Like, if you can chase money or you can stay somewhere where they actually want you, and that's on you. Like you can't just keep pushing that idea like, oh, no one wants me, that's why we're not paying me. No, we want you. We have to have you at a decent price. So we'll see what kind of man he is. Really, he's 26 years old. So there's a lot of growing up still to do, especially when you become a millionaire at 18. We'll see who he is as a person. I think in reality, I would hope that he would sign a 18 to $22 million contract and play out the rest of his career here. I think we could do something special.
Now, obviously, none of us know D'Lo, but if you had to guess, do you think he's in it for the money, or do you think he would be willing to take almost a little bit of a pay cut to try to win a championship? What kind of sense do you get from D'Lo just watching him? And
well, I don't think that other money's out there. That's the thing. I mean, I think it's very possible that he would go through this season and hit next season looking for this max contract, and it's not going to come. Especially because his numbers are going to be down this year, other than assists. Like his assists will be up and his probably efficiency will be up, but he's not going to be scoring 20 points a game just because there's not going to, like Jared said, there's not enough shots in the game for him to be taking enough to be scoring that much with these other guys that we're going to have. So I don't know if that max money is going to be there. 27-year-old point guard who's never, we'll see. So I would say, he just recently made a comment saying the NBA is full of athletes, not basketball players. If he's a real hooper, he's looking to get rings and win. So we'll see. I would say I'd say he wants to win. I'd say he's going to take a deal that's going to be team friendly, and it's going to be maybe a 3-year deal. So he's still young enough to maybe hit a big contract if he blows up and win a couple rings or something. We'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where his head's at, because like you were saying, I don't think he's going to get a better opportunity in his career to win a ring. I mean, we got young guys, we got Gobert, we got Towns, and let's go to Towns a little bit, and then we'll get to Austin Rivers and Eric Pascal. I wanted to ask you guys this question. So recently, Karl Anthony Towns, he had a press conference. He said a bunch of things, and he also, I don't know if you saw this, he put that ad in the Star Tribune where he basically thanked fans and basically said that he's committed to Minnesota. Jared, do you believe him? Do you think he's going to be a lifer here, or do you think he's just blowing smoke?
I think he'll be here. And I kind of brought this up with the just the kind of Kevin Durant trades that are floating around. When you have the rights to sign a guy for 15 years, you have the ability to make him happy every time it's contract time. And I think that's really understated in the NBA. Like, look at like these. You think that Giannis isn't going to get by the Bucks. You think that Luka's not going to get a fat. I mean, once you have the rights to a player, that's half the battle. And we already have the rights to him, obviously, and have his entire career. I think he likes it here. I see him. We really don't know a whole lot of these guys' personality. I mean, we have things that we believe. Like we see them say nice things, and that's what a pro athlete's supposed to do. But what do we really know deep down? I mean, if I had a one-on-one conversation with him, he might say, "Hey, they paid me here. I like it here, but if I'm ringless in 4 years, I might be ready to bounce." That might be how he carries himself. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. I've never met him personally, but he seems like a great guy that loves it here. So, I mean, and if we're going to have the ability to keep him in our organization, I think we're going to do everything in our ability to keep him.
Right. Chris, anything to add on that?
Well, I mean, I think Jared nailed it. I mean, look at Dame Lillard. Everyone wants to say he's like the most loyal player in the NBA. But if you stay with the team that drafted you, they can pay you so much more than if you go other places. I mean, he's going to be making $60 million a year in like 2 years on his new deal.
That's crazy.
If he went to the Lakers or if he went to somewhere else before signing that deal with Portland, like the most he could make is like 40. So it's like 20 million a year difference. Like there's a difference between loyalty and just financial intelligence, and I think Cat has more financial intelligence than he does loyalty or willingness to win a ring or want to win a ring. I don't think the ring thing is cute to talk about and how I'm really got to drive to get the ring. I would be surprised. I would say there's probably 10% of NBA basketball that are really ring or die. I would say the other 90% are like, I'm trying to set up generational wealth. And if I happen to be on a team that wins it, wow, that's awesome. What a cool opportunity. But if I play 15 years and I'm like a couple times, I'm an all-star here and there, and I literally set up wealth for my entire like lineage, dude, that's the real goal. And it should be the real goal. So I don't really buy the ring thing. And I don't think Cat is really the type of player like skill set where he can like go to a team like I'm going to go get this ring with this team. Like he's kind of unique. So you kind of got to play around him. Like it's not like he's LeBron where he's a guaranteed finals appearance, where he goes. So I think he's smart enough to know staying here will help his PR, will help his bankroll. And now with the way that we're putting stuff together, probably gives him the best chance of anywhere to win.
Sure, absolutely. Jared, you wanted to talk about KD a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask both of you, if you are running an organization right now and you have arguably one of the best players in the world available for trade, would you even consider making some of these deals that are being floated around for a 33? He'll be 34 in August, I think I heard. Kevin Durant.
No, 35, but I'll check.
Yeah, so his age is definitely getting up there, and KD is one of the best players in the entire world, and it's been proven. But at the same point in time, like like even like just this Boston Celtics one that's floating around. It's like 3 first-round picks, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and probably some cap filler to make it all work. And I'm sitting there thinking, like,
Right.
isn't Jaylen Brown like 23? Like, I don't know that I would be willing to do that. I don't know that I would be willing to do that deal, you know, as any, and it doesn't even have to be like a certain team in the league. Like, I don't know if I would do it if I was Toronto, like, because there was another team that was like, oh, they'd offer Scotty Barnes, this, that, and then some future picks. And it's like, okay, but does that really give you a significant championship window? Like, I mean, dude's a killer, but if you don't win at least one in those 4 years, that's going to be looked at as one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Yeah. So my opinion is that if we're talking, if I am the Brooklyn Nets, I absolutely would do that deal for Jaylen Brown, a couple firsts, and Marcus Smart, and then just build for the future around Jaylen Brown. Because A, you got to do something, and B, just Jaylen Brown. I mean, Jaylen Brown was just the number 2 guy on a championship team. So, and I get why the Celtics would do it as well for Durant. But on the other hand, you got to look at it like you just went to the NBA Finals and went to 6 games, and now you're going to basically mortgage your future for a couple years of Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant. Plus, what we've heard in the news, that Kevin Durant has said that Kyrie told him about Boston and all the shenanigans that go on there, whatever that means. But I don't know. If I'm Boston, I do that move just because Durant, I feel like, is a goner anyway. Although I have heard reports that they are hopeful that he'll change his mind, but I don't think that's going to happen. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, it all depends on what your situation with your franchise is, obviously. So we'll talk. I'll kind of touch on a couple of these. So, like the Celtics, for example, Jaylen Brown, I think next year needs his max contract, and it's going to be a doozy, you know. So the real question is that I would ask is, if you're the Boston Celtics, do you think that Jaylen Brown and Tatum is a $60 million combo that'll get you rings? And I'll tell you, I don't think it is. I don't like those two together that much. I don't think they work that great together. I think Horford really helped them out. I think their defensive switchability really helped them out. But Horford's got just a couple years left. Marcus Smart, I think he's great, but I think he's declining. And they've got him signed for like, what, 4 more years at like $16-17 million. So it's like, well, it might be smart to get off both of those contracts. Like, do you want to put 5 more years of a max contract on Jaylen Brown when he maybe, like, I don't see him as a max guy myself because I don't think he can create enough. I think he can play well off of Tatum, being, you know, kind of like that cornerback that looks good because the other cornerback's always on the number 1 wide receiver. Well, yeah, you know, like you're on the number 2 wideout, so you're going to look good. That's kind of what Jaylen Brown is to me. He has a lot of pressure off him. So, like, do you want to give him $25-30 million a year and keep paying Marcus Smart? Maybe not. So maybe it might even be wise just to up your game, take on Durant, who's better than Brown, and take some pressure off Tatum so Tatum doesn't have to be the lead dog, which he failed at. So now he can be the second fiddle and maybe dominate at the second fiddle spot, and you might get a ring out of it, or might get 2, or leave, you know. I would do it because then if Durant's gone in 3 years, that's just, now you don't have, like, if it was the other team, you'd have $50 million between Smart and Brown tied up and maybe not winning. Maybe it'd be better to use that money a different way afterwards. It's tough. I mean, it's a tough way to look at it, but if you look at the NBA in a whole, if you look at the history from the beginning, you look at it in like 10-year blocks, and usually in like a 10-15-year block, you'll see like the title games, like who won the title and who was there with it. It's like the same teams, like the Lakers and Celtics, grrr, you know, then it's like Philadelphia and whoever, brrr, then, you know, then back at the Lakers, then the Bulls had a huge run, then the Spurs had a huge run. It's, I mean, almost always, and then it's like the LeBrons, whichever team he was on, you know, and like the the
Warriors.
fucking Warriors, yeah. So to get to that level and to actually be that level, it's so hard to get. I think you have to take your shot when you can. Now, like a Timberwolves team, I would not mortgage our future because I don't think we're right there yet. We're not at the door. And I don't think we need a guy that's going to be taking 25 shots a game, which is why I think Rudy Gobert is perfect. Like you said, there's only so many shots in a game. So, like, you can't add a 25-point score and just assume your total score is going to go up 25 more points. That's not how it works because he's taking shots from other guys. So, it just depends on the roster. I would definitely do it if I was the Suns, if they could move Ayton, which they don't seem to love, and Bridges and, you know, some picks. I would do that because Chris Paul's got, what, 1 or 2 years left? Might want to get that ring as quick as you can. They've got a shorter time frame.
But on the flip side of it, I think Phoenix, or I think the Nets asking price is unbelievable because I think in that Phoenix deal they said they want Booker. Like that doesn't do nothing for you, you know.
Well, I mean,
they
can say that, you know. That's what I would say too. But like when it comes down to it, like this is how negotiations start. One person says something crazy, then the other person goes, "No, we'll go down here." Like, okay, maybe here. No, here. Like that's how it works. So yeah, they're gonna come out with some wildness, but like what's really happening behind the scenes, we don't know. You know. So I don't know. I mean, KD's a beast. I would try to get him on a team if you're really if you don't love the guys you're moving, and that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that the conversation with Utah to get Gobert was okay. We'll give you 7 first-round picks. no 3, and then they
no. What I think it was, what I bet it was I want McDaniels. I want you know, I want, you know, X amount of picks. You probably started out wanting, you know, maybe even wanting Edwards, and that was shut down right away. Like, I'm sure it started with players, and our front office is like, no, we're not going to give you our young core. We'll just give you some lottery tickets, like the old lady that comes to your door trying to sell you like some ticket to win a big screen TV. That's basically what we just bought. They bought 10 $5 tickets to win a 60-inch screen TV. And you know what? There's only one of those 60-inch TV, and they handed out, you know, 70, 50, you know, 70, 80, 90 tickets. So what's the odds of your 5 hitting? Not very high. That's how I feel about those draft picks. I don't care about losing those. Like, you know, if unless everything falls apart, we're going to be good enough where those draft picks don't matter at all. You know, I understand the net or the Lakers not wanting to give up theirs in a couple weeks or in a couple years, because when they're at some point they're going to have to rebuild soon. But I don't mind. I would give them another. If they asked me for another first, just for fun, I'd toss another old. Like, I don't care. Have a couple seconds. Like, I'm trying to win a title, so I don't know.
Sometimes when you buy 5 lottery tickets, they give you like a bundle pack bonus where you get one for free. That's what Chris is saying.
Yeah, give one of them. That's what the pick swaps are. They're like,
that's the pick swap right there.
You want a pick swap? Okay, well, you're literally selling all your players, so you're going to be like the number 1 pick or top 3 picks, and we've got, you know, two Hall of Famers, a possibly third, you know, almost all in their prime. Yeah, I'll swap every pick you want because we're going to be 25 spots different. Like, we're always going to be way below you. You know, I don't know.
Right.
I think the media is making a big deal out of it. And like I said before, when we talked about Gobert, what I love to do with these future picks is it's every other year. So take any 8 years, because you 4 picks every other year. So you got 4 in an 8-year period. Find an 8-year period anywhere in the draft. I always go back a couple years so you can actually know who these players are. And pick a spot, 22nd in the draft, 23rd, 24th. Pick a spot, stick to that spot, and look. Don't look at everywhere from 20 to 30. Well, what if? No, you pick one number and stick with it. And almost always they're garbage. almost always those players are people you've never heard of, some Euro stash nobodies. They're nothing. But, I mean, everyone wants to say, oh, well, Draymond Green was picked here. And yeah, you don't get the whole second round and then you get to pick the best guy out of that 10 years later. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll take the title.
I totally see what you're saying. So I want to ask you guys kind of a fun question. This kind of goes to kind of the year going forward, but I think it'll be good for a side video as well. So it came out Vegas over under 49.5 wins. Do you guys got the over or the under? What do you think, Jared?
I got us right around there. That's a pretty pinpoint number. The guess that I threw out at the beginning after this trade happened was like 48. So, I don't know if I'm willing to stick to my guns because it's the off season, but I think that number is extremely accurate. But I think if you look at the history of Rudy Gobert, I think he wins 50 games quite frequently in the regular season. That is, so it's a sharp number. I'm right at that number, to be completely honest with you. I guess I'll if our roster changes anymore, then I see this team play in some couple preseason games, I might have a better stance. But right now, I'm right on top of that number.
Okay, Chris, what do you think? Over under 49.5?
No, make Jared say over or under. Not this. Yeah, I think Vegas is right. Kind of shit.
All right,
I mean, it's a sharp number. I would.
Oh yeah, they're Las Vegas. Surprise! They're pretty good.
Well, they weren't sharp last year with our number. I'll tell you that much because we all called them out on that bullshit. But
so over or under, what is it?
I'll take the over just because Rudy's going to win 50 games.
Yeah, I mean, over you automatically go to 50 wins. So, I mean, they had about 50 wins the year they went to the Western Conference Finals. Not saying, just saying. Anyway. Chris, over under 49.5.
I'll take over. and I don't even, but part of it is I don't really care about wins. Like, wins doesn't mean anything to me. I wish that they went by like rank in the West because I don't know, wins. I never look at like wins. Like, that doesn't like season to season. It varies so much. Like, the 6th seed could be 50 wins one year. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I'd say over because if Vegas thinks that, I think that we're better than what Vegas thinks. I mean, I think we're going to be really good, like really good. I think Rudy Gobert, people are super underestimating what he can give without taking anything away. Like, what he can add all the stats that he normally gets without taking anything away from anybody else. Like, it seems like that doesn't really mean anything, but it's so important, and I think, like, watch what happens with New Orleans this year when they get Zion back. Watch how adding a 25-point scorer really isn't going to help them too much because it's going to take all the ISO that big long cat Ingram has. What's his name? Yeah, all of his play. It's going to drop his points per game 6 points. It's going to drop McCollum's points 5-6 points.
It's going to cut into Valanciunas too. Just another big body in there.
So now you lose 15 points out of 3 guys, and are you really how much are you really adding? So, with Gobert, he's not taking shots. Like, you're not running ISO plays for Gobert. Like, he shoots 75%, dude. He shot 75%. Let me say that again. 75%. That's unbelievable. Come on, dude. Like, you tell me that. I mean, all he's replacing is V8.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah. So I want to bring this up because you mentioned how much wins fluctuate from season to season. I always remember this season looking at the 2014 West standings. I mean, the 8th seed right there has 49 wins. Like, that's crazy.
Dude, how about 48 for the 9th?
Yeah, there was no play back then. So
that's what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
The West will probably be that good again.
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
The West is,
They'll beat each other up
Yeah.
unless stars get hurt, which, I mean, who knows? You know,
Right.
tell me, are the Lakers going to be a top 3 seed? Well, now that's different. Is Michael Porter Jr., is his back going to not fall off his body? Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a crazy Western Conference for sure. And I just think that makes the triumph of making like a top 4 seed even higher because of how much he had to fight for it. And as we can see, and as we saw in the NBA or in the NBA playoffs this year, anyone can beat anybody with a few exceptions. Like we should have beaten the 2 seed like this year, and that was before Rudy Gobert. You've put in Rudy. Here's a question for you. Here's an interesting question. Put Rudy Gobert into that Memphis series. Do we win?
Yeah, probably in 4 games.
We win it in 3 games. I mean, we crushed
you're telling me Brandon Clark doesn't destroy us with Rudy Gobert?
He doesn't even try to. What's crazy about it is he wouldn't even try to. Like, watch. I mean, you have to kind of really watch, but watch how many guys don't even try to like do something around the basket with Rudy Gobert there. Like they'll be like, oh, swing. Like I have no interest in like, oh, I'm gonna pump fake this guy coming out to me to contest my 3, and I'm not gonna drive. I'll just pump fake him and swing it again because I have no interest in attacking Rudy Gobert. And I mean, let's not pretend like Karl Anthony Towns didn't average like 2 blocks. We were like 8th in we were like top 5 in the NBA in blocks last year without Rudy Gobert. Like we can play defense, dude. McDaniels is gonna be. He grew an inch. I think he's like 13 feet tall now. Like he's gonna be blocking everybody. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's maybe with the new Bad Boys. Who knows?
Well, and the biggest thing for me this offseason with Rudy is it should keep Cat out of foul trouble, which is what killed us in the Memphis series,
Exactly.
So,
yeah, absolutely, man. I am so excited for this season. It's gonna be a fun one. It's got to be the most excited I've ever been about a Wolves team, probably since last year. So
find me another Timberwolves podcast talking about the Timberwolves in late July.
You can't do it.
There should be more. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I mean, you can be the guy that talks about them come playoff time. Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about with the Twins. I mean, maybe the Loons. I don't know. They tied today. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's put an exclamation point on that there. Jared, thanks so much for joining us this week.
As always, it's a pleasure getting to sit down and talk again. It's been a little bit, so we'll be back
a little bit, and we'll try not to be strangers. We'll put another one up, particularly if something happens. I know we didn't get to Eric Pascal or Austin Rivers, but sometimes that just happens. And
if you're watching on my Facebook channel, I'll put a link to our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Make sure you go hit the subscribe button over there.
Yeah, hit the subscribe. Absolutely. Tell a friend. It all helps out. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
No problem, buddy. Enjoy the night.
Yeah, you too. And this is the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. And as always, go